Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my Cedar Point Recreation Park. In the last episode we worked on Kitty Kingdom, building a bunch of little flat rides over there. Today we're going to continue the trend and work on Planet Snoopy, a similar kitty area on the other side of the large building that has the arcade and I think like some meeting halls in it, something like that. Unlike Kitty Kingdom, there is a little bit more variety in the rides over in this area. There are a couple little carousels, I think 3 of them. Pretty easy to shoestring, just as we did last time. We also have a couple more rides of note. Another monster truck ride, a Dodgem, a ride that is pretty much the same thing as the Magic Carpet ride in RCT. Although this one has a submarine theme, which I wasn't really able to replicate, unfortunately. But the ride type fits perfectly, and I don't want to shoestring something like this because it already works out pretty well with the in-game version, so I'm just going to leave it like that for now. We've also got a tiny kitty drop tower. This one was pretty fun to recreate. I used the regular drop tower and changed the car to the lay-down coaster. Works perfectly for a tiny little ride like this. And we've also got a miniature railroad over here, which was surprisingly difficult to recreate because of the scale that we have. Additionally, I was having a lot of trouble with the crossover track. The railroad is a figure 8, and when you have a setup like this in RCT, the train will just turn at the crossover where it's not supposed to, and it looks awful. So I had to throw in an S-bend in there instead so that the track didn't overlap in that way. Looks not great, and I had to use coaster track instead of railroad track, which is probably fine because no one's really gonna look at it that closely anyway, probably. And it's gonna be covered up a lot by trees, but still not ideal, but I think it'll work out for what it is. Other than that, not really a lot going on over here. As always, we're gonna skip most of the pathing and foliage and things for later, just dropping down some basic fences and queues just to make things workable. We have a little bit better idea of what this area is going to look like, but we'll be coming back here to fill in the rest of the scenery at a later date. I also decided to spend a little bit of time redoing Ocean Motion, the swinging ship near the front of the park. I had a placeholder ride in here for a very long time that was just a real swinging ship, an in-game ride. And the scale isn't great. It's a little bit too small, I feel like, for what we're trying to accomplish here. So I replaced it with what I feel like is a slightly better option. We're using a coaster that uses powered launch mode with a couple laps on it, basically like an inverted impulse coaster, to simulate that swinging ship motion, and I feel like it works out pretty well. The supports are a little tricky, and I spent a little bit of time on a couple different ideas for supports. Still not very happy with what I have here. But I'm going to come back to this at some point and rework these probably, or clean them up, something like that, make this area look a little tidier. But with all this out of the way, we actually have made some significant progress on our flat rides for Phase 3, which is very exciting. You probably remember last time I mentioned there are about 45 flat rides or so, and after today, knocking out all these little ones here in these kitty areas, plus a couple other random ones that we have, like the Midway Carousel. We've got 22 done and 23 left to go. So we're about halfway, if you're going by count. Some of the ones that are left are going to be a little bit more complicated, however. For example, I still don't know what I'm going to do for Max Air. That one's going to be very tricky to figure out. Windseeker is also going to be a bit hard to build. I know how to do it. It's just a matter of getting it done. Probably going to have to practice that one a little bit off camera as well, just to make sure I've got it down. But definitely looking forward to getting those done. It's really exciting to see some of these rides come up and fill in some of these areas of the park where we have gaps. Really helps fill things out. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. Relatively short episode. Not a lot to talk about, just getting some rides built. So, as always, if you've got any comments, questions, suggestions, let me know. Thanks for watching.